Well, hello, everybody. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. Hopefully, all of you had a wonderful weekend. We've got a terrific show planned for you. In the second hour, we're going to be joined by a company called Appian. Okay, Matt Calkins is the Appian's founder and CEO. He's going to be talking about, well, kind of explain what Appian does and how they can make your business more productive. It's an interesting show, and he's going to be joining us in the first hour. And in
1 minute
in the second
until
hour,
showtime.
and in the first hour, WhiteSmoke is going to be here. We have the company's marketing team lead, Joseph Iris, is going to be here with us talking about their grammar and spelling checkers. This is an amazing product. It's come a long, long way from the early days of these types of products. So anyway, it's going to be an interesting show. So we welcome you. Sit back, relax as we begin 2 hours of Computer America right here.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Monday! And here we are. And hopefully we got a great show planned for you. Of course, today is Martin Luther King Day, so happy Martin Luther King Day to all of you. Yes. And,
That was a very short clip.
yeah, short clip. And his famous speech. But, you know, again, it is Martin. That means no mail today. Banks are closed. It's a federal holiday. And hopefully we have you here with us, as always. We are live Monday through Friday, Eastern Time, 3 to 5 p.m. Okay, so we hopefully all of you are joining us. And again, hopefully all of you had a wonderful weekend. Now, if in the second hour of the show, we're going to be joined by Appian. We're going to have the company's founder and CEO, Matt Calkins, is going to be joining us. He's going to be explaining exactly what Appian does. When you go to the website, it's a little confusing, but you know it should be interesting. They're something that they're shifted more toward the enterprise market, but you know we felt the need to bring this to you. You might find it of interest, and he's going to be joining us in the second hour. In the first hour, we're going to be joined by WhiteSmoke. This is really interesting. It's an all-in-one English writing tool that does you spelling, grammar, punctuation, style checks. I mean, it's really very interesting. And we're going to be talking to Mr. Joseph Iris, who is the company's marketing team lead. That'll all be coming up in this hour. Now, if you have a comment or a question for our guests, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. If you don't want to go on the air, but you still have a comment or a question for a guest, just go to any page at our website, ComputerAmerica.com. On the upper left-hand corner of any page, you'll see it says Submit a Question. Just click that. It'll take you to our question submission page. You can type in your question, hit the Submit button, and Ben and I will see it immediately, and we'll ask your question. We'll deal with your question on your behalf right then and there. It's just that simple. The other thing that you can do is that we stream live video of our radio broadcast. So you not only can listen to the show, you can actually watch the show. Again, head over to ComputerAmerica.com, and any page there in the pull-down menu says Show Lounge. Just click that, and you will automatically be joined to our show already in progress if you're listening to us live, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. It'll go right to the live portion of the show, and you can watch us. And it's kind of cool because it's just another way for you to interact with the show. You can see myself. You can see Ben. In this case, in this hour, you'll be able to see our guests. And also, Ben has the technology to display websites, movies, videos, backgrounds, so you can see all the information, everything we're talking about. You can also see it. It just makes for a more pleasing and interactive session with us, or broadcast. So again, if you're listening to us Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we welcome you to the show and watch the live video. Now, Ben, anything else you want to mention before we get started?
Yeah. I guess we haven't mentioned this in a little while, but please go check out our archive page, because we try to add many new sites for you guys to check out Computer America at. You can always get it from the source, which is Blog Talk Radio. You can always check out all of our other networks that we stream live to, but then we also have stuff like not Podcast Bunker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and a couple other places. Go check those out and check us out over there, because that would help us out immensely. So,
yeah, good point.
Other than that,
thank you for bringing that up. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to Rehovot, Israel, where our guest is today. See, we truly are global, and we're going to be talking to WhiteSmoke. Now, WhiteSmoke produces an all-in-one English writing tool that provides grammar, spelling, punctuation, and style checks. Matter of fact, I believe even that WhiteSmoke will check for things like plagiarism. So if you're copying something, it'll tell you that too. That's amazing. WhiteSmoke's software is activated in a single click from any text application and browser, pointing out potential errors for consideration and offering suggestions for improvement. They believe that users that have little or no experience with WhiteSmoke software can use their solution to quickly begin writing, editing, translating into over 40 some odd languages, and enhancing their English documents. Now, here to explain is Joseph Iris. He is WhiteSmoke's marketing team lead. Joe, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Hey guys, doing good. How are you today?
Okay, so you're in Rehovot, Israel. Where is that?
That's a bit, I want to say, south to Tel Aviv.
South of Tel Aviv.
Israel's Silicon Valley. Part of it is Israel's Silicon Valley.
Is it really? Oh, it's considered.
Yeah, basically. You
Okay.
can say that, yeah.
I don't
We
know.
have a few. We have
Just
like
everyone,
three.
just everyone that I've met from Israel is like, yeah, we're some kind of correlation to Tel Aviv. Like everyone's just around Tel Aviv.
Yeah, you have like, on the East Coast you have New York, on the West Coast you have Los Angeles. We only have Tel Aviv, and it's tiny. And traffic is horrible, and yeah.
You have no East or West Coast. You're just there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. What time is it, by the way, right there?
10 p.m.
Oh, it's all right. So it's not too late for you. Okay.
No,
Good.
I'm good.
Okay, good. Well, you heard my introduction of WhiteSmoke, and obviously this technology has come a long way. When I used my little spelling checker way back when.
Yeah. Well, development started way back in 2002. And we basically just, not myself, but the older CEOs thought that it's weird that by this time in, I don't know, evolution, I'm going a bit too far with my description,
No.
we should have technology help us communicate. A lot of people have a lot of problems with English, myself included, because grammar is difficult. I'm decent. WhiteSmoke helped me a lot during the 3 years I've been there.
Mhm.
But by 2006, we already put in a lot of work on our algorithms, on our databases, and we were able to build software that can detect tens of thousands of possible grammar errors, spelling errors, sentence structure errors. Plagiarism was added recently, but basically we try to cover everything that can go wrong with your text. And we do a pretty good job as far as technology allows, because there are limitations, honestly.
Well, it's interesting because the spoken language is a very hinky thing because when you say, I mean, there are things that you can say in English, and it's the way you say them. It's the inflection that gives that whole phrase a different meaning, than what is it? I mean, you can say you can say things like "Have a nice day," or you can say "Have a nice day," which means something really bad. I mean, and it's the same words.
You just threatened me on the air, Craig. I don't appreciate it.
So it can be extremely difficult, at the very least, to I mean, obviously word for word. It's not word for word translation, because word for word you can get into trouble if you do a word for word translation.
No, that's first off, translation isn't our main focus. We have strong tools, but our main focus is correcting your English and making sure you don't make a fool of yourself. Studies we've made with our users and research we made during the years showed how many people hurt themselves by, with silly grammar errors. People lose jobs, people don't succeed in interviews, people hurt their spouses, or, they cancel dates because they write something wrong. So our vision, to some extent, is to be there and prevent all of these errors. We want to cover everything and make grammar errors
a
thing of the past.
And it makes sense. I mean, you can think of dozens of examples of when you read, let's say, you can read an instruction manual and know that it wasn't written by a person who speaks English.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that. Our famous one was, those little silicone packets that are in electronics to moisture. One had written on it, said, "Do not puts in mouth," and then, and then it said, "If puts in mouth, do not swallow." So So you see things like that, and obviously, it kind of makes you laugh sometimes. But the point is, how many times you get emails and you can just by the bad wording, that their grammar isn't.
Exactly. A lot of American people who get support from the software vendors know how hard it is to communicate with representatives that have accents and things like that. It's very hard. Our software can't help with that yet. I'm not saying we're working on it, but I'm sure the people are working on that kind of technology. But we want to take written communication between nations to a different level. And we really help a lot of companies in Asia. We help French Canadians talk to you guys. We help people all around the world that want to do business with Americans and want to do business in English, do it, which is nice.
Yeah. No. So if you were to describe WhiteSmoke to someone, basically, about the technology, how would you kind of describe it?
I would start by comparing it to Word, because Word offers a spell checker, and I would also compare it to the completions you get on your phone, on your iPhone. And I would say that it's much, much better. Because
all right. Well, you mentioned Word, obviously, or the iPhone.
Yeah.
So tell us what differentiates WordSmoke from these similar products, such as
WordSmoke is we should have chose that name. WhiteSmoke.
WhiteSmoke.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We have a peculiar name. It's out there. So WhiteSmoke doesn't just check spelling. It doesn't stop there. We have a huge database that covers any error you can basically think of. Even if you try to trick our software, most of the time we're gonna see what you're doing. Any grammar error, any spelling error, it sometimes can even pick up context and tell you got something wrong there. Style suggestions, if you're repeating the word too much, if you're using slang when you're trying to write a formal letter, if you're making mistakes, it's going to tell you, and it's going to tell you how to fix them. We have a very high success rate when it comes to actually tracking those errors. If you compare us to the competition, because there are other grammar solutions out there, we pick up significantly a larger amount of errors. So I can truly say that we have the best algorithms for checking your grammar and your English and helping you improve your confidence in your writing.
Now, one of the things that one of the reasons I would turn my grammar checker off, quite frankly, and this is, back then, because some of the suggestions I would get were, how should I say, almost misleading. They weren't accurate, or they weren't reporting it properly. I'm hoping, obviously, a lot of this is years ago, so I'm hoping I have not had the pleasure of using WhiteSmoke. I certainly would like to try it, but do you overwhelm people with suggestions or corrections, or do you try to kind of focus into down to where the real problem is?
I'll just say that I typed in a purposely poorly grammared, poorly written sentence, and it said I got a score of 20 out of 100, and WhiteSmoke made me feel bad. There's no two ways about it.
That's kind of a sell pitch. You're like, your grammar is horrible, man. Spend some money on it. But no, honestly, we don't really overwhelm the users. That actually depends on your level of writing. If you're writing something simple, if you're trying to communicate with a colleague abroad, or if you're trying to send someone an email about your trip, it's not going to start showing you hundreds of suggestions. It's going to show you where you got the biggest errors, and it's going to show you the correction above it, and with a click of a button, you're done. It's behind you. If you're writing a novel, it's going to be more specific. It's going to pick up more errors. It's going to give you more suggestions. No, it's, well, yeah. Yeah, if you look at the score, sometimes you'll feel bad. But we're working on it, by the way. One of our plans for 2016 is improving the feedback we give to users and the way we present it to them. Right now we have a writing review that has a lot of data behind it, but doesn't display most of it. That's something that's planned for 2016. We want to show you when you open a document and you start working, how much you improved and how much you didn't do the same errors. We're working on it. It's harder to maintain because those are huge databases. Because we have users that checked their text over 1 million times, like regular people, not companies. Users that have their own account since 2007, and they used our check text button over 1 million times. So keeping a record of all of that is a bit costly and difficult, but we're working on a way to show users how they improved and how they can improve further.
Joe, there's always a way. But let me ask you this, and it's kind of an unusual question, but do you think about it? When you're checking for bad grammar, do you, in order to do that, would you actually need people who speak poorly, who have poor grammar? Do you hire people with poor grammar to make the grammar correction better? I mean,
actually, we do, because programmers don't need to know good grammar. They write in code. That's not exactly English. So we have as I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not amazing with English grammar.
Yeah, okay.
All Israelis aren't. You're not gonna find someone who's that. Maybe like 3 guys, and I haven't met one yet. And that goes so far as Americans as well, because half of the people make mistakes all the time. Half of the expressions have built-in mistakes in them.
Well,
so,
not only that, it's worse than that. I mean, you can go to neighborhoods, literally, and understand what some of the people are saying. They're speaking they're speaking English, but you don't understand them. I mean, it can get to be that way, because they have local colloquialisms that come into play, and you literally sometimes can't understand what people are saying. When you watch a news show, they'll interview somebody, a local person, and you'll see closed captions underneath them.
Yeah.
Oh, down south.
But that creates jobs. That's good for the economy. You should remember that.
Yeah.
We love our Southerners, but I mean, thank God for closed captioning. Otherwise,
And even
Anyway, yeah, we hire anyway. We don't discriminate based on your English knowledge. Even if we wanted to, that's illegal here in Israel. I don't know about the States. You guys have different rules.
well, if you're hiring a person to be a spokesperson for your company, and
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
really,
Yeah.
come on, I mean, that's not illegal. They don't meet the qualification.
No, but our support representatives and our sales team are people that make grammar errors every now and then, and they check their outgoing emails with WhiteSmoke, and then they're good. Same as our CMO, same as our chiefs. They also use the tool to communicate.
Yeah. Now, just out of curiosity, what platforms do you work with? You work with Windows, Mac. What do you work with?
We work with Windows. We work with Mac. We recently released an iOS and Android app somewhere in mid 2015. We also recently released a semi-free version on Chrome, Chrome extension called Squire, which is a clever name I came up with.
Yeah.
Because I watch Game of Thrones like everyone, and yeah, we're all over the place.
So you say Chrome? In other words, it's web-based spelling.
Yeah. We also I forgot to mention we have WhiteSmoke Anywhere, as you can see on Ben's screen. That's our online client that basically is completely on the web. The demo, as you see, is going to take you just to see your score and then sign up to a full demo that then shows you the capabilities of the software. But we try to expand every year to more platforms. Mobile was a big move. We're very proud of our mobile version that was released. It's doing well, and it's very easy to use. You enter your text, you can paste it in, check it, correct it, copy it out. We're trying to improve integration on that as well, but that's a mess because Apple don't like that.
So if you had to break it down to markets, what markets are you trying to penetrate with WhiteSmoke?
Asia. We recently closed a really big deal with Roadwise, which is a pretty big company in Korea. We're always working on trying to get new deals there. South America, we're also working with the Colombian government. Canada is strong and slowly getting stronger. We have a lot of resellers around there. As I said, French Canadians love our software. Law offices and governmental offices use our software right now.
Law offices. I mean, you mentioned. I mean, there's another wrinkle to it because grammar in everyday use is not necessarily the same when you're constructing a legal instrument. So how do you have legal dictionaries, or do you? I mean,
yeah, we do. We used to have back in the day. We had different packages for like medicine writing. I'm saying it wrong, but like for medical writing. Yeah, medical writing. Law, as you said. Fantasy, we had different settings, but we were able to combine everything to one engine that basically sees if you're using a lot of professional terms from medicine or from law. It figures it out. And
well, that's great. I mean, obviously, the simpler you make it, the easier. So if it will auto detect, I'm using, this is a lawyer using me, and so I'm probably going to be more inclined to give him legal suggestions as opposed to someone who's just writing home to mom.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we're working on the user experience every year. Every version we released had a few improvements that made it simpler. We're trying to make it as simple as possible and user-friendly, so anyone can just open the WhiteSmoke and start writing.
Or WhiteSmoke and start. Why didn't you call it WordSmoke?
I'm gonna open up my time machine. It's a time cat thing. And I'm gonna ask some people a few questions.
Exactly.
And I'll get back to you in an email.
There you go. All right.
I don't know if they had emails in 2002, so it might take a while.
Okay, I understand. It's harder to go back years than it is days, in time. So I notice a lot of people. I mean, a lot of companies always offer their product for free, and they make money. I understand that you are actually licensing WhiteSmoke. Why are you doing that? And why did you not follow the general trend, which is, oh, this is a free product and we make our money, some other way through
First
that?
off, our competition never did that fully.
Okay, all right.
So doing that allows the company to gain more users. Monetizing those users is something we did, by the way. Back in 2011, we started distributing a toolbar, WhiteSmoke toolbar, and that was distributed to over 50 million computers freely. The thing is that some people distributed it in a way that hurt people. Some toolbars got nasty and added different things because we had a huge distribution networks made of thousands of affiliates and websites. And distributing our product for free uh, raised costs, and the monetization was there, but didn't always work.
All right.
And it was hard to maintain. But we're working on it. As I said, we just released a Chrome version that's free for use, and it's not limited.
All right.
So you have most of our features in there. You don't have the plagiarism checker, and you don't have some of the other features. But we respond to the market, and the market showed that this software that tens of millions of dollars were invested in can still sell for a good price, and people love it. We get feedback every week from authors and from professors and from teachers who use it to check tests and stuff like that. So we're always trying to find a way to grow our user base, even if it's with free users or with licensed users, but we're trying to approach everyone. We're just trying to find the best path, and that takes a while. A lot of companies that change to a free-to-use model in Israel and outside of Israel didn't make it. So we're always trying to figure out a way to be in between.
Sure. No, I understand. Now is WhiteSmoke primarily English? In other words, you are you're doing English grammatical rules, or are you working with foreign languages? I know you said your main thrust is not.
It's English grammar, yeah. We don't offer grammar services for other languages.
Okay, so English, your English is the, and I keep hearing this, and I keep hearing that English is going to be eventually become the universal language. Would you agree with that or not?
To some extent, because I think it would be harder for Westerners to learn Eastern languages.
Okay.
Those are. I've been to Korea for a month. I'm a huge fan of their culture and their video games. And it's impossible, honestly, because just the different. I don't know if they have different dialects, but their accent, the way they pronounce things, is so different from the way you would do it. You say something that sounds exactly what you think you're saying. He says the same thing, but he doesn't understand you. It's much difficult. I do think that English would always have the ability to bridge a gap. Even if someone from Korea or from China or from Japan doesn't know English as well, he's going to be able to have a conversation with you. You can't really learn Japanese or Korean easily. English isn't easy too, and I don't think any language is, but that's why we're trying to focus on the Asian market now, because they also have issues with learning English and understanding exactly what we mean in our emails, but they want to make more money, so they do it. That's why we also have Americans who do the same with the Asian languages.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I picked up Pig Latin pretty good though. Ude uye xpe patenle. See, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah,
I know a little Arabic, and I don't remember anything.
Okay.
I knew a little Arabic is what I should have said, yeah.
I guess we're a little lucky I almost said American. That English is the language of business, and
Yeah.
luckily, it seems like every other language is putting a little bit more effort into speaking our language, because I'm trying to learn German, and that it's supposed to be easy for English speakers, but I'm still having trouble with that.
It's like punching yourself in the mouth.
Yeah, I know. It's lovely. What a lovely language.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pose a question to you, but we have like a minute left before the break. But for WhiteSmoke, you give all these options of how to fix this, how to change this grammar, how to do this and that. Have you ever thought of doing this automatically? Because I could see this in an application where I do a lot of text-based communications with tech support and things like that, and you can tell that when they type, they don't exactly they either use very predetermined script-like responses, and when they do go off script, the responses are very broken English. Is there any thought to doing an automatic?
We have an API that allows you to do that with your
Well,
software.
wait.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we? I'll let you respond to Ben when we come back to that question. Ben
Sure.
will ask it again. Yeah. But we
I have time to think now.
All right, yeah. Cue up WhiteSmoke. All right, so we're going to take a little break. We have a brand new news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up as well. You're listening to the Computer America Show here on Martin Luther King Day. We'll be right back.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
You can't tell pork sausage from a groundhog. Hi, Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the ecobee3 thermostat. One of the prettier ones out there, both in terms of its panel and its interface, and it's got a pretty good brain behind it. It comes with a companion remote. Both connect over Wi-Fi. Both can read both temperature and motion in the room. The main unit's got the user interface and can give you local weather. You can set it up over the web or its app to either average the temperature settings of the two units or to follow me and have activity indicate which one should set the thermostat. Or if it sees that both have no activity, it reads that as nobody home and relaxes the readings. So bottom line, an ecobee3 Wi-Fi connected smart thermostat and its remote sensor companion offers opportunities to both add to comfort and subtract from energy bills. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. That was a brand new Marty Winston.
Yeah.
Well, no, same Marty Winston, new.
We need a new Marty, guys.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. So welcome back to the Computer America Show. We have Mr. Joseph Iris here. He is the marketing team lead for WhiteSmoke. And right before the break, I posed a question just at the right time where we had to interrupt him for the commercial break. He's good like that. Real professional. But my question was before the break was that a lot of companies out there, and this is obviously business to business, but a lot of companies out there use labor that is not from the U.S. It's that kind of thing, and they give them scripts, and the scripts can get them so far. But then when they have to do something, that when they have to communicate something that is not so copy and paste, they have to, rely on their own skills. And like you said, learning a new language is not easy, and it's very broken English whenever you talk to some of these tech support people in these new text-based things. Would WhiteSmoke be able to do some kind of automatic grammar, sentence structure correction?
We can. We do with our API and specific services for a few Asian companies that provide services for Americans and everyone around the world in English. It works to an extent. The thing is, our algorithms can detect and correct with, let's say, an 89 to 92% success ratio. But those 7 to 11%, if I counted that correctly, can mean a lot.
Well, yeah,
And
it's interesting because I've heard things like that when it came to
OCR.
OCR, optical. We get 87% correct. I said, well, that means that 13% of what you is all messed up.
Exactly. Yeah. The thing is,
Yeah.
if you look at auto corrections on your phone, that's the best example of a complete failure in our book, because most of the time you're trying to fight it in order to write things that are correct. So we tried that. We mess around with that every year. And as we said, for companies it works for, we do it. And we're happy to do it. And we help them improve it as well, because we can learn the way their employees talk, the way they write, and change your software to fit that and pick up mistakes it didn't usually did. That I said it all wrong. You see, if I wrote this using WhiteSmoke, it would make total sense. Yeah.
All right. But
it sounds like you do have the tools to.
We have the ability to determine which correction suggestion to apply automatically. We don't offer it right now on our licensed software for individuals, but if a company wants that type of solution, that's exactly what we did for a few Korean companies back in 2015. We're talking to a few Eastern European companies for the same thing right now. But for individuals, I don't think it works as well, because it's an intrusive experience. If you're writing something personal, it can affect it. It can change it to an impersonal level, and it can change meaning because sometimes it misses context. So WhiteSmoke is a companion. WhiteSmoke is a tool. WhiteSmoke isn't everything. You can't be everything. You can't solve everything. With language, as you both said, everything has so many meanings, and everything you say in a different tone, everything you write. Even when I write to my wife a text on WhatsApp or whatever, and I use dots, she knows I'm angry. If WhiteSmoke would add dots to my texts where I don't want them, like 3 dots, like
the ellipse.
You didn't walk the dog. 3 dots. That can be. You don't want to send mixed messages, so that's why we want you to use WhiteSmoke as an extension of your hand that you write with. Yeah.
Right. You wouldn't want to. You're saying you wouldn't want to write a love letter with WhiteSmoke.
No, you could, but you would use it not automatically. You would check your text, and you'd see if you changed, I don't know, I don't have a good example on the fly, but if it can work. I mean, we have a lot of creative writers that use our software. We also have, this is a small anecdote, erotic writers who use WhiteSmoke.
Wow.
So I started off as a support technician at WhiteSmoke, and we did remote sessions to help people if they had technical issues with the software. So I helped 2 erotic offers in my half year as a support representative, and they write some stuff that has a lot of meaning, and it stays. It's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can use WhiteSmoke for basically everything.
Yeah. But you want to use that to write to your wife? Well, maybe. I don't know. Depends.
I don't know. It depends. If you want to send mixed messages, you do that all the time anyway. We just don't notice. I mean, I just noticed this dot thing a few days ago.
You talking about the ellipse?
Yeah.
The ellipse. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
And Joseph, you seem like the kind of guy that I want to ask this of. There's always been this undercurrent, this conversation that like we talk about sometimes, and it pops its head back up every couple of years. That computers definitely, with the rise of computers and texting and autocorrecting and that kind of thing, everyone is saying that kids today, young people today, are just the worst English speakers of any generation. Like language is dying a slow, horrible death. Like it's actually a conversation that we have in our household many, many times about how the English language is just slowly eroding away thanks to autocorrecting and how you don't really even have to think. Would you say that WhiteSmoke is the future? And would you say that WhiteSmoke is the future where you kind of just grunt a certain way and it writes an eloquent sentence for you? Like, how do you see this fitting in? And of course, this is not strictly business, but just as a thought.
No, it's interesting. It's very interesting. I heard a lot of opinions about the fact that emojis is a regression baked to cave paintings. That has some basis to it because you're not really expressing what you're trying to express with a smiley face. That could mean like 12 different weird things. But with the English language, where you have so many words for everything and for every specific emotion, you can be very specific with what you're saying. It's great. That's the best way to communicate in the way I see it. Our generation and the generations to come are most using abbreviations, and I don't really. It's an evolution, honestly. The thing is, kids nowadays communicate with so many people over so many groups and so many Twitch chats and I don't know, MIRC. Some people still use that. And they have shorter attention spans because of commercials. I think they get shorter. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that WhiteSmoke and similar tools, if you use them as a part of education, as some universities do and some schools do, it can help. But that kind of problem is rooted in popular culture. But I would also want to defend popular culture because you have rappers that write very, very eloquent. I mean, it has a lot of curse words, but they send messages in a way that speaks to young people, but uses the English language to an amazing extent. You have a few that do that. You have content writers all over the internet that use the language that young people speak with like proper English and write beautiful messages. You have amazing TV writers that do the same thing. And I think the shortening of words, the abbreviations, the emojis is just a way for people to communicate faster. And I think that in the next few years, we're going to see more tools that are directed to help. And maybe you would write an abbreviation, and then it will write the full word. We consider that on our system. It works to an extent.
Right.
But yeah, you have a point. In Israel, in Hebrew, it's different, but you can feel it. You can feel it everywhere. But I try to, I don't know, see what the kids are doing. I'm on the edge there, being 28 in a month, of knowing still what they're trying to do, what they're trying to
Right.
say. So I see a lot of merit in what they're doing.
I know what you mean when you say things like Twitch chat. I mean, that is a very, very good example. I know that a lot of our older audience really won't understand that one.
Yeah.
But when you go in there, brevity, a lot of emotes, and just a lot of spamming, where it's just like
But-
short,
but
well, a lot of people spamming.
That's a culture. You
Yeah.
don't look at it that way, but that's
Right.
a rich, weird culture where people are cynical 95% of the time, but that's a culture. And
Yeah.
I like that about the internet, Twitch specifically.
So let's talk a little bit about plagiarism, because that was something new that I had not seen before, and perhaps you can kind of.
Well, basically, it's if I oversimplify it, it searches for your text over the internet and sees if it was written exactly the same way you write it. It's useful for students. It's useful for anyone writing a book and anyone who wants to make sure he's being authentic. And it works well. I was surprised how fast it can pick up if you were. It kind of works in a way that if you're writing in a similar style to a different author, it can pick it up, which is I found it very weird. But the people working behind it do amazing things, and the technology is basically a web search that's enhanced to find similarities. I don't know how it works exactly whenever they talk. Usually when the tech guys talk, the marketing people start playing around with their phones.
Now,
That's not good. The marketing people should know what the tech people are talking
No,
about.
I
You're
know
the
what
one
it
bridging the
does.
gap.
I know what it does. I don't know how.
Okay.
When people buy an iPhone, they're not like, how does this iOS thing works? The whole point about an iPhone is it just works.
That's
Even
true.
though it doesn't. iTunes is horrible. Apple. Jesus.
yeah. Well, I have just been informed that we have a slight technical issue, and that our Google Hangouts, although I'm showing it going live and everything, people are not seeing the live stream for some reason, and I'm not showing why that is happening. Everything that I see here indicates that it's live, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is. So. However, if you are listening to us, you can also listen to us via the audio stream with the links. That's all working. So, it's a first. So, our apologies if you're not. But anyhow, Ben and I are talking to Joe Iris. He is right now in Rehovot, Israel, and we're talking about WhiteSmoke. And this, again, I just want to talk a little bit more about this plagiarism thing, because how do you know that the text I'm copying from something? I mean, obviously, if I put 4 and 20 years ago, obviously we're going to know I didn't create that. But can you be a little more specific in how you deal with that?
Well, basically, it's, as I said, it's more directed to students and authors. But basically, if you want to try it out, it works for everyone. It checks sentence by sentence, sometimes even word by word, through the internet for a text that's written exactly the same way. And if it finds a lot of that text, you could see that you're not being original. It shows you how many times it found it on the internet, where it found it. That way you can find other authors' work, you can find other studies that people wrote. And you're not writing the exact same thing. It's a very important tool for writers that want to maintain originality.
No, okay. So it's more for educational purposes.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. Do you have a lot of people who are using this in education? Are using WhiteSmoke as
We have a lot of teachers. We have a lot of professors. Hundreds, I want to say. I was in contact with a few personally. They use it to grade tests and essays and stuff like that. It helps them out. As I said, they don't use it automatically. They go through with it. They check themselves doing usage of the software, and they even recommend it to their students. And we saw a few situations where one teacher brought us 10 users. They just said, Doctor, what's his name? My English professor sent me. We help them out. We even give them better deals because we want to help students.
Yeah.
And yeah, we try and help all the industries. But yeah, education is a big one.
So, getting back to the corporate world, do you find that you how do corporations integrate your solutions on a wide scale? How would they do?
We have an API that's very, I want to say, you can basically make it work with any software. It's very straightforward. We can make changes that you want. And if you have, let's say, a mailing app that you want all the text check for grammar, it's very simple for you to implement it. We do it with a lot of companies in Korea and Japan. We do it with a few Canadian companies. And basically everyone that wants to incorporate our products can contact us. We have an API documentation. We do a small process of connecting you to our databases, and it's not plug and play, but no real corporate solution is. But with like a couple of weeks to a month, we can set basically any company up with exactly what they want. We worked with Pearson for a solution. Pearson are huge. They're using our software every day, thousands of people. So we can handle all sizes, even if you're a small office and you want to really incorporate it to a system you're already using, even if you're a company of 5,000 people, like we just did with Korea, worldwide.
That makes sense. Okay, now this next question I want to ask you, I want you to understand that I'm asking that in the most tasteful way that I can. I don't mean to offend you.
This is going to be good.
Well, no, I mean, all right. I mean, how is it that an Israeli company helps Americans with grammar?
We help you with everything.
Yeah.
You give us a lot of money for, like, I don't know, the army and things, but you use our technology all the time. I mean, the USB, what do you call them, thumb drives, Israel. I don't have a list, but if I had one, I would say the thing we invented, and then I would say Israel or Jewish people. And we have the most Nobel Prizes, relatively. We're smart. We're arrogant. Of course, we're gonna help you with the thing you do. That's
right.
what
But
motto. I don't know. We're weird.
No, the only thing I would say is, would you say that it's that you're that WhiteSmoke, did they see a need back in 2002? Like, oh, this is something that we can do, and we have people here that have the ability to help with this. We can do this, and you just have been evolving ever since.
Back in 2002, that was before the high-tech bubble popped here.
Right.
And that was back when everyone thought that you could do everything. We still believe that in Israel about everything. We're full of ourselves in any way you could imagine. And that really allows us to do amazing things. WhiteSmoke included. I'm going to say it's amazing. I'm a marketing person, and I said our software is amazing. That's what I did right now. But honestly, we try. That's a part of the Israeli way. If we come up with an idea, we try to make it work. That's what we do at WhiteSmoke every day. That's the way we think about a new feature, and one guy is gonna say it's impossible, then the boss slaps him, and we start working on it. That's the way our army works. That's the way everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people work here. And the Israeli high-tech community and the Israeli marketing community is full of people who believe they can do anything, and we really do amazing stuff here.
No, and it certainly looks like that. So basically, you're an all-in-one English correction software, and it works on your mobile. It works on the website. It works with it. You work with different languages, and again, punctuation, grammar. Now, even sentence structure.
Yeah.
I mean, you prevent participles from dangling. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I got that joke. I swear.
Okay.
I'll have someone explain it to me after the show. It's fine.
Anyway, we just see a goal and we strive to accomplish it. I think we did it with WhiteSmoke to an extent.
Right.
You can never be perfect, but we're always striving.
Well, it's like ivory soap. It's always 99 and 44/100%. You know, you're gonna get closer.
Yeah.
You'll never get to 100. It'll never.
There's a book that's titled "You'll Be Perfect When You're Dead" by Dan Harmon, who created Community. I think he got it right.
Right. I was about to say, unfortunately for WhiteSmoke, it's like we strive to be perfect. Unfortunately, you kind of hit a moving target because the English language is not dead; it is ever evolving.
Yeah.
And it's you guys are gonna have work to do for the next forever.
Yeah, that's why, as I said, that's good for the economy too.
That's true.
Well, and again, how do you deal with colloquialisms? Do you, I mean, or do you not deal with it, or is there just like a general version of English that's sanctioned, and that's the one that you use?
If you're making a mistake and it's not a phrase that's too common, we're gonna point it out. If it's a common phrase that has an error built into it, we let it slip. We realize what you're trying to say. As I said, it works to some extent. We're gonna miss a few percent. Can't be perfect.
No, that's right. Well, okay. Now, what is the cost of WhiteSmoke? How much does it cost?
We have monthly packages that start from $9.99 a month because we're marketing people. We don't say 10. And yearly licenses for $80. A premium one that includes everything for $300 for 3 years. We have packages that can fit everyone. If you have a report that you just need to fill in this month, you can choose it for a month and then get back to it if you want. If you're writing a novel, I would recommend our premium package.
Right.
And if you're in business, I would recommend that as well.
Okay. And they can purchase it where? They just they download it from
WhiteSmoke.com.
Yeah.
You can see our store links up there. You can try our demo first, which we recommend. And yeah.
And the demo, again, works on, there's a mobile version of it, so if you're writing the Great American Novel on your smartphone.
Yeah, the mobile version is basically also free for use, and with some premium features unlocked if you purchase the license, and the ads going away.
Right.
But yeah, I highly recommend anyone who finds an interest in improving their English, whoever made a mistake that they regret, which is everyone, so I'm a good marketing person. You should go ahead, you should check us out on the App Store, on Google Play, on our homepage. You can email us if you want. You can email me at joseph@whitesmoke.com if you have specific questions, if you want a tailor-made solution for your company. We'd be happy to help. Yeah.
Well, listen, Joe, it's been a real pleasure having you here on the show. Again, the website is WhiteSmoke, just like it sounds, 2 words together, WhiteSmoke.com, and you can check it out. As I said, there's a place on the website you can try
and the whole trying it out for yourself thing. Just try to write a paragraph on your own, just talking about whatever. And I have yet to get a perfect score. So I mean, it seems like there's always something to improve upon.
Yep.
Joe, listen again. Thanks so much. I know it's getting late there in the Hovet, Israel, and you have a great evening. And I thank you so much for letting our listeners know about WhiteSmoke.
Thank you. Have a nice week.
And you too. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, there you go. WhiteSmoke. You can see it again, whitesmoke.com, and we have it on our website at computeramerica.com. You can check it out. Again, our apologies. I don't see why our Hangouts keep saying that it's broadcasting, but when I go to the links and everything, for some reason, it says that it's not working, and I have no idea why it's that.
It's just the video backup, and we have other ways of archiving the show. So, I mean, nothing lost, but hopefully we do get that working.
Yes, exactly. Okay, well, coming up in the next hour, we're going to be talking to Appian. Appian, again, a website that deals with enterprise. And we're going to be talking a little more about enterprise solutions for your computer. And we were going to be talking to the company's founder and CEO in the next hour. His name is Matt Calkins, and he's the founder and CEO. And we'll be dealing with that momentarily. In the meantime, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, the TuneIn Radio Network. The networks just go on and on. And we're going to take a short break, top of the hour break, and then we'll be right back. And we have another news tip bulletin review as well for you. All that coming up in hour 2 of the Computer America Show. Please stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And again, we just had WhiteSmoke on the program. Really interesting interview. If you missed any portion of that, you can certainly listen to it again. We archive all of our programs here at Computer America, just computeramerica.com. Just click the Archives tab, and you can download the audio or the video. We certainly have it available on iTunes and SoundCloud, Stitcher. All archive the program for your listening pleasure later on. But of course, we are live Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time, and we certainly welcome you to join us then. So talk to me a little bit about why you think why isn't our Hangouts working? You know, I see it here. It says that it's live, but if you go to the website and you click on it, it says it's starting soon. So it's got to be a technical glitch. We did nothing wrong, as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, it has to be on our end. I mean, it's all on our end. But as to the specifics, why? No idea.
Yeah, no. You say I remember to start the broadcast. It says live in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. I checked the URL. It all matches, but for some reason, yep. Okay, well, hey, it's a technical glitch, and it happens. I was just watching CNN a little while, just a few short, about half an hour before we started, and was it Wolf Blitzer? Wolf Blitzer was on. And he was having technical difficulties. The guy was coming on, he was glitching out, and so if CNN can have it, and they
but at least CNN has a couple interns that you can throttle. Like we only have ourselves to throttle.
Yeah, exactly. But I figured if CNN can have them, anybody can have them. Technical glitches, they do happen. And our apologies to you. We've done everything right. We don't know why it's. We'll check it after the show. I'm curious to see that if it's going to make the archive available. It should. I mean, it's recording it. Okay, that said, we're going to move into the second hour of the show. We're going to have another news tip bulletin review, as I mentioned, from Marty Winston joining us. Ben, you has fully recovered for the Consumer Electronics Show, right? You've
I think that at this point, if I say that I am still tired from CES, then that is a personal problem, and that is not one that reflects on CES.
yeah.
No. I feel really good, and definitely getting a lot of traction from what we did out there at CES, and yeah, just expect better shows to come from having been out there.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, the coverage itself was a lot of fun, but the fallout from it is going to be even more so.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more interviews that are going to be coming out from that. I mean, it was definitely worthwhile going out there, and
For sure.
And we plan to do it again every single year. Albeit we may be more prepared with certain other things that we didn't have. We'll make sure that those things are in place.
I think so too.
Yeah, exactly.
Computer America's only been doing it for like what, a dozen years out there at CES. So give us some time to mature a bit.
Hey, even the veterans of CES still make.
I feel like the veterans of CES are the ones who don't really do CES anymore. Like they go out there, they show their face, and then they know that they can get other people to do CES for them. Like those are the veterans, the ones who don't have to do CES anymore, like Nathan Evans.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. He doesn't do it anymore, and now we know
those are the pros.
Yeah, now we know why. Okay, well, that said, I think let's get into our next hour guest. They're basically, the company is called Appian, and according to their website, there is a new way, a better and faster way to deliver innovative business applications that improve decision making, mobilize key data and processes, and unite business and IT in driving bottom line performance. It's always all about the bottom line, and that's what Appian does. It's the one enterprise application platform for your success. But we still have a lot of things to talk about because it's still gray for me. So joining us to help us understand exactly what Appian does is Matt Calkins. Matt is Appian's founder and CEO, so you can't get any higher than that. Matt, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you tell our listeners basically what Appian does?
Absolutely. As you said, it's important to make business applications. Every organization needs them. They need applications to run in unique ways, to make themselves different from their competitors. And Appian is a platform for building unique applications. The world's full of software. Pretty much everything these days runs on software. And a good deal of that software has to be different from any other piece of software ever written because it's expressing a unique behavior that makes one company better than another. And you just can't get that off the shelf. You've got to build it yourself. We're a great way, a fast way, an easy way to make unique software to run your business.
Okay. All right.
So to make a very simple analogy, because would this be like let's say Wix 1-in-1, like some of these other website builders where you go there and you can easily design a website, and the outcome may be completely different from one to another, but the platform is the same. So essentially, instead of websites, input apps, and you are a simple to use platform that, even though the end result might be different, you can still go to one place to design many, many different things in regards to apps, is what Appian does.
And you're right about the paradigm. We're making it easy to build something unique, but what we build is often extremely big and important and mission critical, and so it's a lot more sophisticated than customizing a website. We work for the largest organizations in the world, and we allow them to do the things that make them different and better and capable of handling their unique circumstances. So it's really a top down to the middle of business proposition, and yet in all that complexity, we've still got to make it simple.
And evidently, it is not a simple thing to do.
It doesn't start out simple.
Yeah.
Everybody's business is very complicated at this level, and it's our job to just not make it any more complex, to build unique software that helps them run the way they want to run. So you can build an application in our platform by drawing a picture, and we just interpret the picture into software.
So how does a company approach? I mean, they approach you and say, hey, look, we're an airport and we need to, coordinate so many of our activities together, or we're a car rental service. Or, could you give us an example of how a company would come to you and request your assistance?
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned airports, and we're working with a few airports, and I'm guessing that you're referring to Dallas-Fort Worth, which is our largest airport client, one of the biggest in the world. Obviously got a lot of unique considerations because every airport is different, but this one, being one of the top 5 or 10 in the world, has scalability issues, security issues, privacy issues. It's a unique, complex institution to run. And a couple of years ago, their CIO decided he wanted to build the airport of the future. He's a very ambitious guy. He wants to just rewrite how the airport works. And he identified 36 applications that all needed to be rewritten in order to build this airport of the future. He chose our platform. And we, with him, rewrote all 36 in 18 months. So we had about a new GA application every 12 business days, roughly. And we just turned over the way the airport run. And now it's mobile. You can run the entire airport just by walking down the terminal with an iPad. You're connected to everything. You can talk to everybody. You know what's going on.
Did you?
All these applications are unified and they're simple to run.
Did you just like flip a switch one day and say, okay, we're ready to go. We're gonna flip over to all this new stuff, and and then if it doesn't work, we'll flip the switch back. I mean, or did you slowly integrate this into it? I mean, how did you do that? I mean, that's a lot.
Well,
yeah.
It's a lot. It's a transformative proposition, and with an airport like Dallas-Fort Worth, you would never just flip a switch. Right? you would never risk it, right? We had to carefully test that all these are actually going to work, and some of these are safety and security things, right? So they've got one application to check they do safety checks on the airplanes. So the airport does that, and they've got another one to be sure that there isn't a flock of birds right over the runway because a bird strike can be a really dangerous thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they would never just risk it by flipping a switch. What they would do is build these important applications, carefully test to be sure they lived up to their highest expectations, and then roll them out one at a time. And they've done it, and they rolled out all 36, and they're a new airport. They are the airport of the future.
Well, all right, now let's call it like it is. There's no such thing as I mean, I learned this when I was studying computer science. My degree is computer science. There's no such thing as a perfect program. There's always going to be something. There's going to be, something's not going to work as anticipated, or something's not going to be correct. So when do you when do you say, okay, we're as ready as we're going to be? Do we try and can we backtrack? I mean, how do you integrate something like this, especially in something so complex as an airport? I mean, I can understand if you're doing a restaurant or something. Okay, so it came out raw rather than medium.
Right.
So, but you're dealing with people's lives, and so how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, no software is ever utterly perfect.
No.
There's always little issues, and I took some CS classes too. And generally, when my programs broke, it was because I misplaced a semicolon or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, Appian makes it a lot easier because you don't have to write any semicolons. In fact, I think if that key is broken on your computer, it doesn't matter because all you're doing is dragging and dropping. You can practically write the application with a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's our goal. Build the application by drawing a picture with your mouse, drag and drop, and then that's interpreted into a sophisticated, unique piece of software. So we're making it easier, but that isn't to say it's always perfect. In fact, every piece of software becomes imperfect merely by drifting into obsolescence. Circumstances change, things are different, and your behavior has to keep up. So we expect that people will change the application all the time. And one of the great things about having software derived from a picture is whenever you want to change it, you go back to the picture. You want a new node, you want a new arrow, you want to change the order of things, you just drag and drop it. And those changes are interpreted into the software code.
It sounds like, so you're using some sort of a graphical user interface to write code. What is
to me, it's starting to sound more like a flow chart kind of deal where it's what you want to talk to which way and that kind of thing. Like you say picture, and I feel like picture is really oversimplified. What you're actually
flow charty. No, you're right about that. It is like a flow chart.
Okay.
What is the base language which everything is written in here? And obviously it has to be.
You don't need to know a language. You're drawing. It's graphical.
It's magic. You don't need to understand the underpinning. It's like a car. You put the key and you turn it, and the car goes. You don't have to be a mechanic to drive a car. You don't have to be a coder to use what Appian is offering. Is that what you're saying?
You have to think logically, because when you make a decision about the position of nodes, or if you right-click configure some of your elements, you've got to think like an IT guy or gal, because you're making decisions with logical, widespread ramifications. However, anyone who does think that way, be they a CS major or somebody else, can be effective. And so we're an empowerment tool. We make more people able to create custom software than any tool has been able to do in the past, at least at our level of sophistication.
But do the companies that hire Appian to do what it is that you do for them, do they maintain some sort of service or maintenance contract, so if something goes wrong that they can pick up the phone and say, hey, something's not working right, or
I hope so.
Or I mean, how does that work?
They often do, just like any piece of software. I mean, generally, in our case, it's usually used in the cloud. So there isn't technically maintenance, but there is a subscription fee, and we're happy to be a resource when there's an issue. So yes, they call in. For that matter, we have a big consulting team, and we also are partnered with some of the best consulting firms in the world, and there's thousands of people around the world who are specialized on our software. And so there's always somewhere you can turn in case you want to make any changes or you've got any questions.
Do these companies hire someone with this type of experience that has been trained to use the Appian platform, or does that become a job title? I'm the Appian platform interface person for this company. I mean, how does that work?
Just like you said, it is frequently a job title, and we do the training ourselves. So we make it easy for someone to become an expert in Appian as quickly as possible.
How long does that take usually?
Couple weeks.
That's it?
It's easy.
Really?
It's not like learning a new language. Yeah,
it's not.
We make it simple.
No, okay, because it's all due to the graphical user interface that they're working with.
It is our mission to remove as much impedance as possible from the process of making unique software. So anything we can do. It was last year we declared that we would make it half the time to build the same application at the end of the year than it was at the beginning of the year. And I think we generally roughly achieved that goal. Obviously, some applications are cut by more than half and some by less than half, but we about cut in half the time it takes to build a piece of software last year. And we're going to try to do it again this year. So we're aggressively driving the impedance, the complication, and the overhead out of the unique software creation process.
So,
I was just looking at your website there, and you have different industries that you're obviously a part of, and people ask you to design things like these, and certain industries I can see taking to this, like duct water, energy. That's obviously the more automation and the more surveillance that you can get on that is amazing. But I mean, some of these I've worked personally in manufacturing, and I gotta say, using a Windows 95 computer in 2013 was a lot of fun. But I mean, I can't imagine that all these industries that you work with are that easy to make new applications for.
Well, even an industry that's running on Windows 95 and 286 chips and what have you, when it comes to mobile devices, they've still got an iPhone.
Please tell me that is in the airport.
I think the airport's a little more high-tech than that.
Thank you.
But they still, I mean, you can't be too obsolete on mobile devices. And so we run natively on every popular mobile device in the world right now. So including obscure stuff like the Apple Watch or the Google Glass. So we will give you a up-to-the-moment modern experience on a mobile device, even if your desktop is prehistoric.
So who are your competitors, or do you even have competitors? And what makes your, I mean,
yeah. We have oblique competitors. We don't have competitors that are exactly like us, but there's some that we touch on the fringes. So, for example, Salesforce has a platform that they call Force.com, which is a platform for building unique software applications. Now, it's not as powerful. It's a little simpler. It's based on older technology, so it's less elegant, but Salesforce is one of the great marketing companies in our industry. maybe in all industries. And so they're a formidable competitor wherever they go. And we run into them sometimes. Sometimes it's because we're competing for a relatively simple piece of business, and other times it's because they're just able to project themselves into deals where they don't even really belong.
Okay. So you mentioned mobile. Okay, mobile, and everything is mobile these days. The things are certainly moving to mobile. I guess in the enterprise, how does mobile enterprise, impact a company's bottom line, or does it even?
I think mobile is about to become exceptionally important, but so far it's largely been unsuccessful in changing a company's bottom line. I think a lot of money, a lot of imagination has gone into enterprise mobile, and I have yet to see much impact. But I'm a big believer in the impact that we're about to have, and I think there's just one critical change that the enterprise has to adopt for mobile to become a really powerful force in creating value. The primary fallacy here is that mobile can be deployed one application at a time. The whole "there's an app for that" mentality leaves you with a bunch of separate applications running on your mobile device, none of which run also on your desktop, which means the mobile device, which was supposed to be a connectivity tool, has become unwittingly an isolation tool. And I think that's a tremendous mistake, and that's what enterprise has done so far. It's what business has done with mobile applications for the most part. But I see a change coming.
Well, let's go back.
I think instead of having, go ahead.
Well, let's go back to the airport example. The mobility. I mean, how is that affecting it? I mean, how has that affected it?
At the airport, at Dallas-Fort Worth, you can log into the Appian environment, and then you see all 36 applications simultaneously. Updates, news, alerts, emergencies from all 36 sources are coming to you, prioritized, filtered. You're able to connect to every person who's logged into any application, so you have an instant network of fast response, and you're able to get data from every application at once. So you're really getting a window on the entire enterprise. Now that's the opposite of the isolation version of mobile that I was just talking about. Dallas-Fort Worth gets a unifying experience, what I would call a mobile enterprise as opposed to a mobile application.
Okay. Well, then, do you see this type of mentality affecting other industries, like, let's say, the medical industry, for example?
Yes,
Hospitals.
I do. Absolutely. And it's not just me, by the way. There was a poll recently that said 84% of IT decision makers agree that they're going to be shifting from mobile applications to a mobile enterprise in 2016. And about 3 out of 4 of them believe they're going to mobilize their entire enterprise. So no longer satisfied with just an app here, an app there. They're going to take their whole enterprise and commit to making it all accessible from a mobile phone. I love that. I think that's when mobile is going to matter to the enterprise.
Well, you say quite a bit. I mean, it sounds wonderful. Do these things apply to most? Again, I mentioned medical, for example. I mean, how detailed do you get? I know, for example, if you go to a hospital and, right now there's a big TV screen, a monitor telling you, when the patient's going in for surgery and where they stand in the surgery and when they get out of surgery.
I mean, there has to be some kind of benefit to, going back 15 years and, if you're lucky, everyone had a Nokia 3310, and that was great and all. But I mean, there has to be some kind of benefit to nowadays that you can count on almost every employee having a powerful computer right there in their pocket. There has to be some kind of payoff from the business perspective.
There certainly ought to be. If you look back across the whole computer revolution from, let's start with the microcomputer, 1980 or late 70s, you could argue that the most powerful impact that's had on all of our lives was a communication impact. Not so much a data, not so much a processing power, but the ability to communicate person to person. Funny then that a mobile device, which is obviously built around communication, is supposed to connect you to other people, has become instead a niche, like an isolated subpart of the enterprise. Once we get it back into its proper role as a communication and integration tool, it's going to be really powerful.
How long do you think it's going to take you to do that?
Next couple of years. It's happening now. Dallas-Fort Worth has it right now, right? And others do too. You mentioned a rental truck company, and of course you were talking about Ryder, one of our clients, and they've achieved the same thing. You know, Ryder's got a series of applications all built on Appian, which cover the entire truck cycle, which is to say everything that ever happens to a truck is automated on our software. So trucks get checked out, they get checked back in, they get invoiced, they get repaired, they get inspected, they get et cetera, et cetera. All these things are running on our platform, and they're running in a unified manner. So if you log in, you're seeing all of it. You see the history of the truck, and you see where it's been. You see what's happening. You get that total perspective, which is so different, frankly, from what people get even today in their business when they're at their desk. They still don't have that combined perspective. So it's a big deal just to have the truck cycle in one place. But it's even better because at different points in this cycle, different kinds of people interact with it in different ways. So you got the guy in the Ryder lot whose job it is to check out the truck you want to rent, and he's walking around the truck taking photos of any damage, and he's getting your fingertip signature on a tablet device.
Right.
That guy wants to interact with the truck cycle from a tablet. But you have the person in the back office who runs invoices, and she wants to interact with a high bandwidth spreadsheet style volume driving overview interface. So that's going to be a very different interface on a different kind of device, and the ability to handle these different perspectives and optimize for each one of them and still let everybody see everything. That's a neat aspect of this software, the way it just makes a community by dealing everybody in.
Now, when you say everybody in, are you talking strictly employees of the company, or you offer things that you know the everyday person who's accessing the airport or the renting the car, or what have you, or the truck? I mean, do you offer apps that let them take advantage of that?
We didn't used to, but just in the past year, we've started to do that. So now we've offered other interfaces that are specifically made for non-employee consumption. Naturally, they have to be simpler and more intuitive and attractive and branded and that sort of thing.
Right.
So no longer do we have just one interface serving everybody. Now we've got these kind of external simplified. They can be good for partners too, or contractors, and that allows you to appeal to a broader community.
Is there a difference between a mobile app strategy and a mobile enterprise strategy?
Absolutely. Yeah, in a mobile enterprise strategy, you're bringing people together. You make the same amount of investment, by the way. It's not more difficult to build the mobile enterprise. You just have to build on a platform that's capable of tying together each of the applications you create. So you integrate each source of data one time. You build each application one time. And on our platform, you build it once and now it works on every device automatically. You integrate data once and now it's available to every user. You integrate each person one time and now they see everything and collaborate with everybody. It doesn't need to be more work. It's just more benefit. And enterprise should start realizing that if they're going to do the work once, they should do it in a way that allows that unity, that collaborative space, so that they can be more effective.
And one question real quick. This may be a little bit off topic, but I believe you mentioned a little bit earlier scalability. And we're talking about some of these industries, and if you're, if your customers are the type of companies that we've been mentioning, let's say you have an app that was designed to work with one department, and that department may have 50 people. And then all of a sudden they want that department to talk with a couple others, and all of a sudden that app that was going to be for 50 people now has to go up to 1,000 people. If you're a business and you want to expand like that, is that something that you have to kind of throw away everything that you've done and start over and, blah, blah, blah? Or how scalable are a lot of these apps that you're making?
Yeah, for us, it's a piece of cake, and it is for two reasons. One is that Appian comes from the top of the market. We began working for the most complex organizations, and so we've begun with that scalability kind of woven into our DNA. So if you want to turn up the usage, we've got it covered. That's where we're from. But then also, we're in the cloud, and so you can always just increase your resources available in order to have a wider footprint. Just an example, by the way. You may have heard of the Affordable Care Act. Some people know it as Obamacare.
Mhm.
You may remember that when that went live, it was a disaster. It was the website didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
And, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
right? The website crashed, and the story was that nobody could register for the Affordable Care Act, but that's not actually the case. We had nothing to do with the website, but we were running the other part of it, the part where you filed a paper form. You could fax it in, you could mail it in. That always worked. We had 3,000 people processing applications. It was completely running on Appian. Millions of Americans have registered for the Affordable Care Act the one way that has never failed, which is with a document. And that was always running. I mean, that's very mission critical. That's a high profile government program. It's got thousands of concurrent users. And I do mean completely concurrent, because they're banging away at it 8 hours a day at the same time. And under all these and they got privacy issues and so on. It's a very important application, and we've never had an issue.
Wow.
Very impressive.
And we said it at the same time. Impressive. Exactly.
Well, I assume you were doing, contractor work for the government. I assumed it was going to mess up somewhere, but that's good too that it didn't. That's good, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Everybody's software messes up once in a while. So I'm not trying to criticize the guys who did the website. Software is tough, right? Everybody knows it, particularly if you're trying to build unique software. That's just not easy. We're trying to make it as easy as we can, but that's the challenge. And that's why this business is. That's why we have no competitors, really, no direct ones, because what we're doing is so difficult that it's hardly even attempted.
Matt, we're at the bottom of the hour break. I got another one or two more questions for you. If you'd be so kind, just hold on through our commercial break, and then we'll continue on with you.
Oh, yes.
All right. This is the Computer America Show. Ben and I are talking to Matt Calkins. He is the founder and CEO of Appian. We'll be right back with them. We got a brand new news test bulletin review again coming up. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf's staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Too bad there's no doctor to call when an election lasts more than 4 hours. Hi, Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Exio Psycho Audio Surround Headset. The old joke says that surround sound headphones only work if you have 5 ears, but Exio has a clever way around that in their Psycho Surround Headset. The headband has 5 small speakers in it, with the front, left, center, and right channels wave-guided forward, and the left and right rear channels backward. There's also a bass driver in each ear cup. The headset plugs into a companion box with an amplifier and controls, which in turn plugs into a system's analog surround jacks. Once set up, the result is indeed surround sound at a quality that gamers will appreciate. Bottom line, when it comes to 5.2 sound from a headset, the XEO Psycho has you surrounded. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
The XEO Psycho. I used to have a screen name to that. Video games. But no, we're not talking about video games right now, Marty Winston. How dare you? In the second hour, we are talking to Appian. We are talking to Mr. Matt Calkins. He's the founder and CEO of Appian. And it's all about, business solutions and things like that, and how they are really offering a service that, really, we've been doing the show for how many years with how many guests, how many hundreds of guests a year, and we have not heard of something like this. This is definitely very, very interesting.
Different, yes, it is. Yeah.
Very, very different. So, and so I believe you mentioned surveys a little bit earlier, and you obviously you do some kind of surveying where you gauge everything about creating these apps, because you have a lot of stats out there about the return on all this investment and things like that, because dealing with so much business is all about the bottom line and how you are helping to improve that. What are you finding is being reflected from all this investment in IT?
We do keep a lot of statistics. I'm a numbers guy myself, so I love to look at the best we can do for ROI. Often that's a difficult stat to measure because the client doesn't want to reveal, particularly when it's really good, and they want to keep that a secret.
Yeah.
And then also it's often subjective. But what I hear is that the justification, the full payback on our software, is generally accomplished within a year, and often within 6 months.
Wow.
So very fast payback because we roll out so quickly, because we save so much time relative to a typical coded custom application. But the best ROI measure by far is the rate of growth and the history of the company. I've been running Appian for 16 years. I founded it with some friends, and in the course of those 16 years, despite our growth rate, by the way, I don't know if you know our size. We're past $100 million a year in revenue. We could be public. We haven't chosen to be public yet, but we're that scale. We've gotten here. We've made money lifetime, right? Unlike a lot of firms who've done this. We were declared a unicorn by a couple of publications last week, so they're saying we're worth $1 billion.
Congratulations.
And we got there with only $10 million of external financing across 16 years, and we've made more than that net. So we're actually a cash flow positive, revenue, a profitable firm over the lifetime of the company, despite this fast growth rate. And we do grow quite quickly. So that's my favorite ROI statistic of all. And I think that if you please the customer, then the revenue takes care of itself.
Certainly, congratulations to you on that. Just one last thing that I'm kind of curious about is talk a little bit about security. I mean, obviously that has to be an issue, and doing things so quickly. What are the checks and balances to make sure that things are still secure?
Security is a really big issue, and it's especially an issue on mobile applications, but really it pervades, it's a concern everywhere. Whenever you're making new software or even installing software, whether it's packaged or custom, everyone worries about security.
Okay.
Right now, one of the biggest vulnerabilities in an enterprise is the number of applications, because that's so many different applications you've got to patch and worry about 0 days, and so many applications that have logon rights into each other. It becomes a maze of very difficult to follow connections. So the way we address this is by, some of our clients have, say, hundreds of applications written on our platform. Instead of 200 separate applications to police and 200 little perimeters to worry about, now they've got one. It's the Appian perimeter. And our perimeter is exceptionally well guarded, because instead of a custom application we're a packaged application, our platform is, and we take security exceptionally seriously. We were one of the first 24 companies in the world to get the FedRAMP certification, for example. So we're right on the cutting edge of security. Nobody's ever perfect, but we try hard to be on top of it, and we're far, far more secure than having a scattering of applications, all of which were written at different times, and none of which is updated perfectly on time, like we automatically do for all of our cloud users.
Wow. Well, listen, it's incredibly impressive, and again, people can go to the Appian website, appian.com. Of course, you can go there if you are driving or can't remember. Just go to computeramerica.com. We have a link to the Appian website, so you can see all of that. And of course, listen to the interview if you missed any part of that. We archive everything we do here at the show. Matt, really, want to thank you for letting our listeners know about what it is that you do at Appian, and best of luck to you.
Very
really
interesting stuff.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Really.
Thanks. Hey, Ben and Craig, it's been a real pleasure.
All right, you take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, there you go. Appian.
Yeah, it's they. No. I mean, what is there to say? Their customer base is, you've heard of almost everyone that they service,
right?
And they have to be the ones that have that make these solutions and make them very, very quickly and implement it on a large scale. Like this is like an app developer, and we were just talking to your friend over at Default Folder X.
Yeah, John Goto. Yeah.
Yeah, and like imagine him, but he had to service hundreds of thousands of people. And that is essentially what Appian does. I mean, it's very, very impressive to hear about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it is. All right. Well, we've got about 15 or so minutes left, and I think we've got some computer news stories that we can do, that we should do.
We do.
All right, so let's do it.
The news never stops.
No, it never does stop. All right, let's do some computer news. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Please visit them at slimwareutilities.com. You'll be happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com.
All right, and I think I'll take the first story if you don't mind, Mr. Crossman.
Yeah.
We are gonna go all the way over to SpaceX.
Oh,
they're always fun to talk about. And for anyone out there who hasn't seen, they attempted to return their Falcon. I want to say the Falcon 9 rocket.
The Falcon 9, yeah.
Yeah. The Falcon 9 rocket booster. And they did it once. They did it on flat land, and it was a very, very cool video to watch. It was the first. It was not the first time. Another company had done it, but they did it, and I was like, "Yay, that was great!" And they already sent up another satellite using the same rocket booster like a week later. I mean, or like two or 3 weeks later. It was insane, the turnaround that they were able to retrieve the rocket, analyze it, make sure it didn't have any kind of fault with it after being sent up, and we're able to just send it right back up. It was really shows you just how useful this kind of technology is going to be, where this giant hunk of engine and metal and all this kind of stuff can be reused over and over and over again. But
it was impressive to watch. I mean, you don't think about it. You always see rockets taking off. I had never, ever seen a rocket land.
I mean, so let's call it what it was. If you looked at this video, you said, "Oh, it's a rocket taking off, but in reverse."
Yeah, it was, and
it's what it was.
It was like, is that a trick, or are they actually doing it? Because when you watch it, it was extremely impressive to see. I mean, the only times I ever saw a rocket land was in a sci-fi movie, but in reality, it's very difficult to do. And they finally.
It looks almost fake.
Yeah, it almost looks fake. Yeah, but it landed. So evidently, though, they had another successful landing, but this time, one of the landing legs failed to lock.
Yeah. When we say successful, we don't mean successful in that it worked, but it came back down, and this time they did it on a water barge. And the difference between a land landing, I guess,
Yeah.
and a water barge is that the landing pad this time was towed on the back of a barge, and it was just a giant platform where the rocket would presumably settle down and kind of stay there, where then they can tow it back to anywhere they want. This is going to save on gas prices because hey, you can just have it come down where it would naturally go over the ocean instead of having to waste fuel to get it back to overland.
Yeah.
So yeah, they tried it this time, and if you're, well, I guess you're not watching the video portion of the show.
Yeah.
But if you were, there is an app. There's a video out there showing it where it comes down, lands almost perfectly. I mean, it looks right where it needs to go. Unfortunately, though, it lands, and then you're like, oh yay, it's gonna work again, and then about half a second later, you see it start to tilt and lean and lean and lean and lean, and it smacks on the side of the landing pad and blows up. I mean, just smithereens. Michael Bay would be proud.
Well, I like Elon Musk's quote. He says, "Well, at least the pieces were bigger this time."
Right. And Elon Musk obviously being a good sport about all this, but every chance that they have to send something up, bring it back down, and be a success or fail, SpaceX has the attitude that they always learn something new. And I believe this time they said the problem this time was they did a launch in high fog, and they're like, fog, who cares, whatever, launch it anyways. So they launched it, but on re-entry, turns out all that fog caused condensation around the leg, and when it went up so high, it froze, and when they brought it back down, that ice that had built up around one of the legs prevented it from locking, and that caused the whole thing to come tumbling over and make it a failed launch.
Now they have to put a heater in the leg. They have to heat the legs.
Well, either that or don't send it up in high fog. But there's something to learn from this. But it was almost a successful launch, and this is again, if this was the same stage 1 rocket that they recovered just weeks earlier. So very, very cool to see that it was almost a success. They learned something from it, but obviously this is not going to be the end all of SpaceX. This is just another lesson to be learned.
Yeah, exactly.
And who doesn't like watching, unmanned rockets explode? It's kind of awesome.
Well, speaking about things that fly, this next story here is from Ars Technica. We go back to Amazon and their drones. Amazon Prime Air. Evidently, according to the story, they're getting ready for drones to carry 5-pound packages over 10 miles in 30 minutes. And according to the quote, they're saying these drones will soon be as normal as seeing a delivery truck, which I think is kind of interesting. So this is again in the interview today. They revealed that Amazon revealed a little more about its forthcoming drone-based utility, a delivery system. Okay, and it's calling it Prime Air, which I think is kind of nice. And it's this future delivery service that's going to get packages to customers within 30 minutes of them ordering it. So can you imagine that? Just order something, 30 minutes later, a little drone lands on your porch.
That is a dream that only a few will be able to experience right now, because obviously, they have to have, I don't want to say stations, but warehouses where you can send these things out of. But it's obviously possible. They're doing it.
Well, they say that it turns out that a vast majority of the things that they sell at Amazon weigh less than 5 pounds. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, take it between all different widgets that you buy, phone cases, socks, clothing, sunglasses. There's tons of stuff under 5 pounds that you can totally ship.
Yeah, obviously not going to be delivering.
I mean, your own wife orders cloth. From Amazon and little jewels and things like that.
Yeah, That would work, but you're not going to be able to order a TV or a washing machine.
No. The days of having a drone drop off a TV for your viewing pleasure are not yet upon us.
No, but it begins with small steps, and I think
or small flights.
Or small flights, exactly. Now, obviously, there are other problems. As this becomes more successful, that basically urban airspace will become saturated with buzzing drones. That's not a good thing. And of course, we're going to have to deal with the FAA and other regulators around the globe, assuming that they take this beyond the United States. That they're saying that they would have to create a layered airspace that would leave room for drones. They're thinking maybe manned aircraft above 500 feet. Between 400 and 500 feet, there'd be a no-fly zone, sort of like a safety buffer. Between 200 and 400 feet, there would be a transit zone where the drones could fly fairly quickly, horizontally. And then below 200 feet, that would be limited to certain operations. That would be like takeoff and landing, that type of thing. Maybe some aerial photography for realtors, who wouldn't need the drone to go above 200 feet to get a good shot of a house, that type of thing. These are some of the regulations that they're looking for to make all this work. Now, no indication was given about when or where Prime Air would be first deployed in the U.S. The FAA obviously would have to approve commercial drone use. That's also in the UK. They would need approval from the Civilian Aviation Authority. That's, I guess, the UK's version of the FAA. So, bottom line, they're saying, look, there are going to be a lot of hurdles for us to overcome, and to make this all work. But he says it's going to happen. Accept it. It will be. It might not be today or tomorrow, but drone delivery will be happening. And I, for one, would love to see what that's like. Granted, look, obviously the novelty will eventually wear off. I remember how novel it was for a FedEx truck to show up, but now you don't really.
Yeah, I mean, when they got rid of those horse and buggies, you're like, wow,
it was amazing
times.
Right? Motorized vehicle. I'll show you there. But I guess the novelty would wear. I don't know. Would the novelty wear off for you? I mean, I would just stand outside, wait for this little drone to come buzzing down. I would think that'd be kind of cool to watch.
No, I think it's just human nature that when you see something and you see it often enough, it becomes commonplace. It's like, oh, whatever. Like, we don't all sit, we don't all turn on the light in our kitchen and stare at it and say, wow, look at that, a light bulb, amazing.
It is amazing.
No, it is amazing, but it's so common. It's whatever. It's but it is kind of interesting that how they're trying to think about this and how they're trying to overcome the challenges, because when you're talking about drones, you can't just think like you could cars, because cars, no tractor trailers in the far left lane on highways and things like that, and all the passing lanes and things like that. But at least with roads, it was only 2 dimensions. That's all it was. With drones, you got to think in 3 dimensions now. You have to think about how far up they can go, how the distance that they can travel. Like, it's nice to hear that they have different kinds of zones. It can't be too different than airplanes, and how they're trying to manage airplanes in airspace. So,
well, look, if it's between the ground and, let's say, 500 feet maximum, that basically tells me that unless it's a really cloudy day, you're going to be able to see most of these things flying around.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, well, 500 feet, 50-story building. If you live in any kind of metropolis, a 50-story building is pretty commonplace. So
yeah, we can't have drones crashing in the building, so that's not a good thing either.
I'm sure they'll be built with sensors that will keep them from crashing into buildings.
Exactly.
The buildings aren't the problem. Honestly, it's either going to be the wildlife. It's either going to be pigeons or seagulls around here or what have you. The wildlife is probably going to be a problem, because a red-tailed hawk is a red-tailed hawk, and they'll hunt prey all day long.
You think that birds of prey are going to be attacking drones.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I completely believe that. And so, wildlife is going to be a big problem. And the other problem is weird people who are going to be out there with their crossbows, with their shotguns, with their nets, with their whatever. And they're going to try to shoot down these package delivering drones.
Now, it's
going to be a pain in the neck for Amazon, but at the end of the day, the customer is insured for their, $10 pair of socks.
Right.
I don't know.
But if someone shoots out a drone and gets a $10 pair of socks, that's stealing, right?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's the same reason why you can't put out a spike strip and take everything out of FedEx truck. It's not yours.
That's it. Oh, okay. Now I understand.
Yeah, it's not yours. But it's a cool idea. It's going to be rather slow to implement. I don't see this being very, very, very commonplace for a while now. But it's like a lot of things we're talking on the show lately. In the future, it's going to be commonplace. You're going to have food delivered to your door. You're going to have items delivered to your door. You're going to have your groceries delivered to your door.
Yeah, but food,
going places and buying things is going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah, food though is going to be more difficult. Food weighs more than 5 pounds. So
they make bigger drones.
Yeah, they're going to have to make bigger drones for food.
I believe in a day where I'll be able to pull up a website, pull up an app, pull up something, and tell it what food I want. And it'll just show up at my door in a couple hours. Like it's like it's no big deal.
Now, how does it drop it? In other words, it's not on top of the drone; it's underneath the drone. So they release it, and the box just stays there, and the drone flies off. It just leaves it at your front door.
It actually carries on top. It lands, does a barrel roll, and then it flies away. Very theatrical. Very theatrical.
Obviously, the package is going to be on the bottom of it, and then it just unhooks it and then flies off. I guess so. I'm looking at the picture of the drone that I'm looking at here now. It looks really cool. It does.
But drones are drones, and drones will always change shape to better suit the packages that they're delivering.
Mm-hmm.
We have time for one more quick story.
Okay.
And I really like this one because I'm always running out of water. If you've ever had a water bottle and you drink, obviously it's going to run dry way too soon. But here's a water bottle that's, in like the last 2 minutes that we have, this is very, very cool, where it's a self-filling water bottle.
A self-filling water bottle, wow.
Yeah, it converts humid air into drinkable H2O.
Really?
This is from Live Science, and it's, it's pretty common. What are you going to do when water is scarce and there's really nothing to drink? But hey, why not pull it out of thin air? This again, Live Science. And Denise Chow. Well, and this is a designer who has invented a device that can extract humidity from air and condense it into drinkable water. It's a handy gadget dubbed Fontus and can be attached to a bike so that cyclists can generate water during long distance rides through countrysides, where pit stops may be few and far between.
Wow.
Yeah, so long distance. So this isn't just sitting around your house and you'll do it, but hey, for bike riders, this could be a very, very cool thing. He said that this is simply condensation of the humidity that is contained in the air. You will always have a certain percentage of humidity in the air. It doesn't matter where you are, even in the desert. That means that you will potentially always be able to extract that humidity again from the air. So go check it out. It's again Fontus, and it's should be pretty easy to find. I can't imagine there are too many self-filling water bottles, but it does kind of attach itself to this unit that has a lot of these little coils and a lot of these little porous holes that will, I'm sure, suck the air in, condense the water very, very quickly, and then put it into the water bottle. It's not a standalone water bottle, but it's part of a little gadget.
I could see this also for in lifeboats or something where you're on the ocean and you need to get water. You could just get it out of the air. And
most survival kits nowadays have for lifeboats. They have a very, very simple machine that runs off of like crank, kinetic energy, and it's a desalination or desalination whatever device. So like that's better than this.
Than pulling it right from the ocean, taking the salt.
Right.
Okay, rather than taking it from the air.
But as a little gadget, I can't imagine it'd be too quick. It says it does about half a liter in about 1 hour in very, very good conditions. So that's not extremely good, but it's something.
Yeah. No. Hey, there were a lot of stories that we just didn't get to. Maybe we'll get to it in the next days ahead. That, like this one from Minecraft fans finds a way to program basic code in game.
Yeah, he built a computer and then he's learning to program on the computer in a computer game.
In Minecraft.
That's some next level stuff right there.
Yeah, it is. And also, we're talking about robots can replace 5 million jobs by 2020. Netflix is bringing back Jessica Jones for a second season. I binged watched Jessica Jones for the Netflix. It was one of the few that I have. I thought it was terrific.
Jessica Jones wasn't supposed to be on for 2 seasons. Daredevil was not supposed to be on for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
90 seconds.
Netflix had all these comic book stories where it was only supposed to be 1 season, get people interested, and then do a large, massive TV series that incorporates all of them. But the people liked him so much, they brought him back for a second season.
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to that. And even if we might have time tomorrow, we'll tell you how to make a slime that's good for cleaning electronics.
Yeah, that was different.
How to make cleaning slime
60
for electronics.
seconds.
That's all coming up hopefully on tomorrow afternoon show. Again, in the second hour, we're going to have Code Warriors. The Kuato Studios is going to be joining us. We're going to have the Mark Hornoff is going to be talking about this. Allows kids who are playing action games to focus on coding skills. And then in the second hour, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software. Again, thanks to WhiteSmoke and Appian for being here. And Ben and I will see you same time, same place. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Have a good one, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, thanks to all of you who may or may not be watching, and we're going to find out if this archive of the video worked. I'm going to start it now, but we'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.